Welcome to episode 12 of Learning Fusion. In today's episode, we're going to be covering node organization. So let's roll this intro and let's get into it.
We're learning fusion together. We'll learn 2D stuff and 3D stuff and particle stuff and compositing stuff, deep pixel stuff and tracking stuff, but not other stuff, but some other cool stuff, because we're learning fusion together.
So before we start going over node organization, I want to cover something I may have confused people on the other day, and it's talking about this create play preview on. And I typically like to work just with one up in my display, unless I'm doing something like doing my mats and all that stuff. So if I'm working on mats, I'll usually have two up so I can see what's going on. But for everything else, I generally only like to have one up, and that's just my style. You don't have to work that way. You can work however you want. But even with this super simple node setup, we're going to get a little issues with our frame playback when we get into all the dissolve stuff. So if I push play here, it's going to get in the middle during our dissolve, and it's going to kind of slow down, because right in this area right here where everything is dissolving or doing our little transition, everything is going on. So our frames per second is dropping down from 30 down to 10. And that's what this create play preview on is for. So we can create a preview without those frames dropping. But there may be confusion on this left right view. Just remember, when we have one up, like we discussed when we were talking about displays, it's always display 2. And display 2 is your right view. And if you ever forget, you can just hover over this little view on and you can see, hey, we're checked on our right view, which is 2. That's our one up. So we can go to create play preview on, right view. It's going to create our little preview. And now we can go here and we can just play through our display without that little transition dropping our frame rate, because it's showing a preview render. And to get back, all we have to do is we can go down to our little transform here or wherever you want. We can hit 2, and now we're back into our normal play mode here. So node organization. And if we look at this simple little node tree, it is extremely simple, but it's pretty big. And if you come back and say like a month or a year, you're going to have to kind of figure out what you did. Or if you're passing this off to somebody else to work on, they got to kind of figure out what you did. So node organization is going to be key in success in working within Fusion, because the better habits you have when it comes to flow control and node organization, the easier it is going to be to work with Fusion. So starting from the simple things, that's basically your naming convention. And there is no one way to do it. You can leave it at your default names because it's going to have default names. But I personally like to rename some things that I know that I want to rename. So for my media ends, for example, if I have my 2 models here, I may want to rename it to the model's name maybe. So F2, I can say this is Amber. On this one, I can hit F2 and we'll say this is Cat. So now I know I've got my 2 models named. So this is Amber's footage and this is Cat's footage. So something as simple as that will just let you know that, hey, this is Amber, this is Cat. So your naming convention, whatever you want to name it, so you know exactly what's going on. Our second thing is our actual flow of our little pipes here. So if you remember yesterday, we talked about how we could change this. So we can right click, we can go to our options. And right now we've got direct pipes selected. We could change it to orthogonal pipes. So if we like this layout better, we can use this layout. But I personally prefer direct pipes. In addition to changing your pipe style, you can add little elbows to make your lines a little cleaner. So if I wanted to clean up, say, these lines coming down so they're not just going straight, if I hold my Alt key and just click on a line, it's going to create this elbow. And I can move this elbow wherever I want. I can hit my Alt key, add one down here, and now I've got another elbow. So using elbows is a good way to clean up, and just know when you're using these elbows, you can also use these outs as outs themselves. Now, additionally, we can create notes on here if we want. So We can hit Shift Space and type sticky note, and we can create a sticky note, and we can move that wherever we want. So if I want to make a little note here for my transform, if I just double click into it, I can make a note. So change rotation on other shots. So now I've got a little sticky note right there. So if I pass this on and I want somebody to do something or just a note for myself, I've got this little sticky note. If I ever need to read it, I can just double click it and close it back down. Now for all these things I'm going over today, I did cover these in our node breakdown series. So I deep dive into actually every single thing I am doing today. So I'll leave links to those breakdowns in our description. That way, if you need more info and see exactly what you can and can't do with these, you can check out the node breakdowns for every single node. And that goes with everything else after this episode. I'll start adding any nodes that we use. I'll add those node breakdowns so you can check them out. Instead of doing little notes on top of the YouTube, I'll just put them in the description so you can check out those node breakdowns. Anyway, another way to kind of organize our stuff here. So if I know this is our dissolve and our effects for a dissolve, I could just select them all, hit Shift Space and search for the underlay and create an underlay. So now I've got an underlay on all this stuff, including our little sticky note there. So I can move this around as I want. I can change my color. So if I want a different color, I can change it. And if I want to rename it, I can hit F2, or I can right click and select rename. But it's going to rename everything that is selected. So if you see, I've got transform 1. I have to hit cancel, lens blur, cancel, dissolve 1. Cancel, my sticky note, cancel, and then I can get to my underlay and I can rename it. Or if I want, if I just click out of there and I hold my Alt key, I can click on that underlay, and then if I hit F2, it's just going to select my underlay. So I can rename this to dissolve effects. So now my underlay is named dissolve effects. And here, I'm going to go ahead and just delete these pipe routers real quick, or elbows as I call them, but the real name are pipe routers. So when I hit Alt and I click that to create this, this is actually within Fusion called a pipe router. I call them elbows, but I'll delete that. But we can also group things. So if I wanted to take all my little effects I did here for this first one, so everything that's in this, I can group all this together. So if I hit a Control G, it's going to create a group. And if you notice, it created inputs for everything on my group. And I can also rename this to Amber Effects Group. And then I can go down here and I can select all this, hit my Control G, hit F2, and rename this to Cat Effects Group. And if you want those spaces in it, be sure you put underscores. Otherwise, it's just going to automatically delete those spaces. But now we've got 2 little groups for all this. So we could bring these in to make them nice and clean. So that is a much cleaner little node tree going on. If we ever need to open this, we can just double click it and we can open this little group. You can move it around how you want. And we can close it. And you can still jump in here and make any changes you need to make. So if I need to go to my little mat control, I can go to my mat control and make any changes I need to make. And if I even wanted to grab all this stuff and create a group, I could select it all, Control G, and I could even rename this to Effects Group. So there we go. So we've got a super slick little node tree going on. And it's much simpler. And we can see exactly what every group is and what it does. We can open it, edit it, close it back up. Now, additionally, we have the ability to use wireless inputs too. So if it's getting really huge and you kind of want to separate all your stuff, you can always separate all this We can disconnect all that. So now over here, we've got all of our effects group and our media out. And over here, we got all of Amber's effects going on and all of Kat's effects going on. But we can use wireless connectors if we want, so we don't have all these pipes going all over the place. But before you do that, you want to definitely make sure you rename some stuff. So if we know this merge is our last merge going out, as you notice, this is our out. And if we follow in our group, we can see this is our final output. I can rename this to Amber out. So I know that's Amber's effects group output. And I can do the same thing on Kat's little group here. This is my output. So I can rename it to Cat out. So I know that's that output. If I wanted to add wireless connectors, I can just hit Shift Space, add a wireless link. And to connect this wireless link, I can just open up our little group here, select the Amber out, drag it into our little input up here. And I can connect that, add another wireless. If I go to Kat's group, select that wireless link, I can drag Kat's output and connect it to our little foreground there. So now if we look, we've still got everything in there. And it's connected wirelessly to our other little groups over here. Now, just remember, this can get extremely confusing if you're doing this and you got a whole bunch of wireless links. So you do definitely always want to rename these. So F2, cat in, F2, Amber in. So now we know those are our wireless links for Amber, which is coming out of here, and for Cat, which is coming out of this group. And again, with all these wireless links, we can still say go to our media out, right click, create preview on our right view. So we can create that preview. So now we can go here and play it. Everything's working correctly through our wireless links, and it's nice and organized. Just remember, there's no one way to do it. It's all up to you, as long as you keep it nice and organized and makes sense to you or makes sense to whoever you're passing it off to. So that is node organization. I'll see you in the next episode.